Previously on Basta Bitcoin podcast.
Will focus on the fiat monetary system. It's a debt-based system that's easily manipulated. Madali yung pera as a means of payment, pero it's a horrible store of value. That in essence is the fiat monetary system. Hi, this is Florian Hilbay and welcome sa episode 4 of the Basta Bitcoin podcast. Dito sa episode na to, we'll talk about a significant milestone in the evolution of the Bitcoin monetary network. Ito yung tinatawag na Bitcoin Pizza Day. Let's start with the basics. How do you acquire Bitcoin? There are only two ways para magkaroon ng Bitcoin. Unang-una, you pay with fiat para bumili ng Bitcoin. Pangalawa, you pay with energy para mag-mine ng Bitcoin. We'll talk about Bitcoin mining in a separate episode, but in summary, yung mining is the use of electricity, conversion of energy to electricity para yung computer can participate in a global competition to mine bitcoins. So there are only two ways to acquire Bitcoin. You pay with your money to get Bitcoin, and pangalawa, you spend or pay with energy to be able to mine Bitcoin. Well, of course, you can also steal Bitcoin, pero that's a no-no. Ngayon, in the early days of Bitcoin, yung hash rate, which is the total energy used by the Bitcoin network to power itself, ay medyo mababa pa. Which meant na yung mga Bitcoin miners, ang ginamit nila ng mga computer para mag-participate dito sa global competition na to were just ordinary computers. So yung CPU nila yung ginagamit nila to mine Bitcoins. Interestingly enough, there's this one guy from Jacksonville, Florida. His name is Laszlo Hanieks. No? He found a way to mine Bitcoin more efficiently. And ang na-discover niya is that kung gagamit ka ng mga graphics cards or yung mga GPUs, then you can mine Bitcoin better than everybody else. Which meant that because he was using GPUs, mas marami siyang Bitcoin na nakuha in the early days of Bitcoin. Ngayon, nung mga panahon na yon, syempre wala namang use yung Bitcoin katulad ngayon. And for the most part, yung mga Bitcoins pinapamigay lang. No? This guy, Laszlo Hanieks, came up with a very interesting idea. He posted an offer sa isang website na pinupuntahan ng mga Bitcoiners, and he made an offer for 10,000 Bitcoins for 1 or 2 pizzas. So yung request niya is hopefully for 2 pizzas para daw the next day meron pa siyang makain. No? And noong May 2022, he happily reported na merong bumili nung pizza for him. And this guy is Jeremy Sturdivant, no? An Englishman who called up Papa John's in Jacksonville, Florida, and used his credit card to pay for 2 pizzas worth $40. So it's a very significant event in Bitcoin history. It's celebrated all over the world because prior to this event, yung Bitcoin lived only in the internet. No? It means na purely technical lang siya na monetary system, or it was a theoretical monetary system with no use case. But because of what happened, because of yung exchange between Laszlo Hanieks and Jeremy Sturdivant, yung Bitcoin literally moved out of the internet and started participating in the world of goods and services. So, ito yung evolution ng Bitcoin from a purely technical layer that exists in the internet to a monetary system with a social or human layer. Dahil nagamit na siya for the first time as a medium of exchange. No, of course, today, etong event na to, itong Bitcoin Pizza Day, yung wow factor niya is not simply that historically it became the first time that Bitcoin was used as a form of money, a medium of exchange, but also because, well, kung titignan nyo yung value ng Bitcoin na tinrade ni Laszlo Hanyecz for 2 pizzas, yung 10,000 Bitcoin na yon, they're now worth $670 million. No? Kaya, on the one hand, yung event is celebrated as the evolution of Bitcoin from an internet money to a form of money used by human beings in the real world to purchase goods and services. On the other hand, it's also a quirky demonstration of the power of Bitcoin as a store of value. Kaya itong si Laszlo Hanyecz and si Jeremy Sturtevant, no? They're both asked, paano kung hinold nyo na lang yung Bitcoin nyo? No? Do you regret having spent that money to buy pizza? And on the part of Mr. Sturtevant, do you regret having spent it? Dahil apparently he spent the 10,000 Bitcoins for travel with his girlfriend. And sila pareho, ang sabi naman nila, medyo game sila na they don't regret it because in the first place, they never expected that Bitcoin would reach the prophesied value na tataas talaga siya. In the history of Bitcoin, merong mga early prophecies na yung price or exchange rate of Bitcoin would go to millions, no, in the early days pa lang. Pero of course, nung 2010, wala naman talaga masyadong mga tao na thought about that prophecy very seriously. Kaya itong si Laszlo Hanyecz and si Jeremy Sturtevant, ang sabi nila, we don't regret it. And they're both happy na at least they're part of the very colorful history of Bitcoin. So that, is Bitcoin Pizza Day. And I hope this May 22nd, you buy pizza and celebrate Bitcoin Pizza Day. By the way, in case you find the contents of this podcast interesting, or if you're interested in doing a deeper dive into the history of money or the Bitcoin monetary network, you might want to check out the books I have written. They're available locally and internationally. Locally through my website and internationally on Amazon.com. Thank you.